Have you ever been so overwhelmed that you felt completely numb and couldn't feel the emotions even though you knew you should have? I can't help but wonder if when bad things repetitively happen, the universe is trying to tell me something. Maybe I've stayed in this chapter of my life far too long. Perhaps it's time to move on. I don't know, a small piece of my heart feels like I can save this sinking ship. Welcome to the aftermath of another unwanted, inconvenient interruption. Nah, I don't know. When it seems like the Titanic is sinking, is it best to throw in the towel? Last night, my sink flooded with dirty gray water from my neighbor's shower drains. And after emptying 3 buckets of water and a million towels later, the sink just kept filling back up. So I just gave up and decided to call a plumber. This certainly makes it hard for me to erase the flashbacks in my mind from my recent kitchen floodings. My patience with this apartment has run out. Dear Lord, my body is changing. These are the only pair of jeans I own. I know it's time to buy jeans that fit, but please don't let them give up on me now. 'Cause you know I'm saving money for a house. There's gotta be a belt around here somewhere. Dang, another day wasted. Rage cleaning. Is it realistic to create my Nancy Meyers dream kitchen in an apartment that's constantly dealing with issues? Instead of waiting for everything in my life to be absolutely perfect before sharing content again with you guys, maybe embracing the unpredictability isn't such a bad idea. I'm washing these waterproof cabinet shelf liners. They do a wonderful job of protecting the insides of my cabinets from damage. Some of my aerosol cans had rusted underneath the cabinet, leaving stains on the liners, but with just a little bit of soap and water and some elbow grease, the stains lifted effortlessly. I would highly recommend these liners for keeping your cabinets clean and well preserved. I had grand aspirations for this apartment. Maybe I missed the lesson the first time. Maybe it's not about rushing through challenges, but more about appreciating the grace that comes from accepting them. Every moment, no matter how small, has value. Every step, no matter how imperfect, brings me closer to the person that I am meant to be. This kitchen, and this apartment, I should say, was once a canvas of dreams, my own small world of creation. Yet I am reminded that the most peaceful of places must endure the unpredictable waves of life. The same way the world shifts beneath my feet, my own identity too is in the midst of transformation. But let's face it, life is a series of shifts, isn't it? I mean, each moment calls for us to evolve. My kitchen, even though it's imperfect, is a mirror of my own journey. It's messy, unpredictable, but yet it's full of life. I feel like I'm shifting from a woman of worry into one of resilience. I'm also shifting from hesitation into action. I'm shifting from waiting for perfection to embracing what is, embracing the beautiful, the creative, the evolving me. And with every step, I become more and more than what I was before. Isn't it fascinating how the simplest tasks can reveal hidden layers of life? After cooking my dinner last night, I left the frying pan on the stove and the grease solidified and clumped together. But to melt it before disposing of it, I'm using hot water and dish soap, which helps prevent the grease from clogging up the sink when you're pouring it down the drain. Make sure that your water is pre-hot and extremely soapy if you decide to do it. Now I know some may warn against using soap and water on an iron skillet, but I've never feared this method. My use of an iron skillet has been my healing companion since I was a little girl. However, this one was gifted to me by a dear friend when I was battling iron deficiency. Not only does this vintage beauty cook most of my meals, it also fortifies my iron levels. This is a true kitchen heirloom. I would highly recommend getting one if you don't have it. Personally, I've never really encountered any issues with water after a good wash. I thoroughly dry it, leaving absolutely no trace of moisture. And I would season it with some grease, usually a heavier grease like a beef tallow. I don't eat bacon, so I can't use bacon grease, but that's an excellent one as well. But for now, I'm gonna use this vegetable oil. The only time I've ever had issues with my skillet is when I used it the night before and not wash it in the morning. If I left it unattended for too long, it tends to rust. To avoid this, I always pour water into the skillet while it's still hot after cooking. This loosens up any leftover food and prevents sticking. My advice? Keep it simple. Always wash your skillet the next morning. Don't leave it out any longer. And lastly, if you're washing your frying pan right after cooking your meal, store it in a warm oven to pre-season your pan for the next time you use it. My daddy taught me that. It's curious, isn't it? How the act of cleaning something so simple can hold so much power. You'd think it's just about tidying it up, but when you're feeling overwhelmed or upset, it becomes so much more. Cleaning, in a sense, becomes a channel for releasing pent-up energy. You see, when emotions build up, whether it's frustration, anxiety, or stress, our bodies can hold on to that tension. We feel it in our shoulders, in our minds, in our hearts, and sometimes it feels like there's nowhere for all that energy to go. But when we clean, something shifts. It's almost as if every wipe of the cloth, every scrub of a surface, every spray of a disinfectant is a way to move that energy through us. It gives us something to focus on, a task that's within our control, a rhythm that calms the storm inside. It's a quiet way of us telling our minds that even when everything feels out of order, we have the power to bring a little bit of structure back into our world. I decided to try a popular internet trend of microwaving lemons and water in the microwave. The idea is that the heat creates steam, which helps loosen up stubborn food residues and neutralize odors. I set the timer for 5 minutes, but after that, I didn't really notice much of a difference. So I opted for a degreaser spray instead. And this is actually a really, really nice degreaser spray. Typically, I only use my microwave for simple tasks such as softening ice cream that's too hard when I want to melt it, or popping popcorn, which is my favorite. Other than that, I don't use the microwave. Unfortunately, the lemon water didn't quite eliminate the smell after 5 minutes in the microwave. Oh well, sometimes the classic methods are still the best. There's something profoundly therapeutic in transforming chaos into clarity. Perhaps it's the repetitive motions, the small victories of dirt and dust vanishing from sight. Each action feels like a release, a way to give built-up tension somewhere to go. To release it in a way that it doesn't feel destructive, but constructive. And maybe, just maybe, when the world feels like it's spinning too fast, spinning too fast, cleaning offers us a way to regain our footing, to reset and restore balance, one surface at a time. Tell me, do you clean when you're upset? Why does frustration turn into sweeping? Why does heartbreak lead to polishing silver? Why does grief make us reorganize cabinets in the middle of the night? Have you found yourself furiously cleaning after an argument? After a long, weary day where the world just felt like it was way too much? Or perhaps you visited a friend only to find them furiously scrubbing away their sorrows, and without a word, you picked up a cloth and you joined them. When life unravels, it is our natural instinct to grasp at whatever we can fix. When we can't stop people from leaving, when words are left unsaid, when disappointment settles in like the dust, do we fight back by restoring even the smallest sense of order? Or is this something else? A distraction, perhaps? A way to keep moving so we don't have to feel the stillness, the weight of whatever it is that's truly on our minds? do we actually even feel better afterwards? Or do we just simply exhaust ourselves into temporary silence? And when it does, did the weight actually lift? Perhaps the truth is, cleaning does not erase what lingers in the heart. It does not fix what's broken, nor undo what's already unraveled. But for a moment, it offers us proof that something can be set right. And maybe that is enough. Maybe that is why when the world feels too heavy, we reach for a broom instead of our burdens. Because while life refuses to be tidied up with a single determined effort, at least the dishes will be done, the counters will shine, your floor will be vacuumed, and for a fleeting moment, the weight of everything else will seem a little less impossible. So tell me, when the storm inside you rages, do you clean to quiet it? Sometimes your energy for cleaning will transfer to other people. So whatever mood you're in, and like you get up and you start cleaning, another person may see you, and that energy that you have would affect them. And then they would get up and start to help you. My mother used to wake us up at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night just to clean whenever she was having a moment. Sometimes it was after she came home from a party with friends or an event that hadn't gone her way. She would wake us up for the smallest things. Like if someone left a single dirty dish in the sink, she would wake us up in the middle of the night just to wash it, like all of us. And we were all standing there at the sink looking at each other while one person washed that particular dish. But then, as if she was unlocking some hidden justification, she'd pull out more dishes and say, wash these too. And we were all, in silence. We couldn't really say anything. We were all staring at each other. What is she going through? It was like unnecessary cleaning, or rather a transference of energy through cleaning. She was very strict about having a clean home. And yet, to this day, I appreciate all that extra energy we had to deal with. Because in the end, it made us better. It taught us the difference between something that merely looks clean and something that truly is clean. Despite the frustration of being woken up in the middle of the night, despite the lack of warmth that she gave us in those moments, and despite the fact that we were so tired, we grew, we learned, and we became better people. So see, sometimes the transference of someone else's cleaning energy benefits both people in ways they never expected. I was supposed to be creating a lifestyle vlog today, sharing tips on how to cultivate elegance. But instead, something spoke through me and told my heart to create this video instead. Perhaps this wasn't the video that I was, that I set out to make, but in some strange way, it might just be the one that I actually needed to create. Do we not spend days wiping away what life spills before us? We clean, yet memories linger. Perhaps that's why cleaning, for all its mundanity, holds a quiet power. It does not change the past, but it allows us to move forward. It teaches us patience, diligence, and the satisfaction of completion. And even when it is driven by frustration or sorrow, it leaves us with something tangible. But here's my closing thoughts. After the dust settles and your home is as pristine as it can be, allow yourself to exhale. The universe never burdens us with more than we are capable of carrying. We were born strong, and though our trials may be painful or our circumstances overwhelming, life will go on. We will endure, whether it be a kitchen sink that overflows or being roused from sleep in the middle of the night. And if for a time you feel emotionally numb, let it be. Take refuge in the rhythm of scrubbing a shower wall, karate chopping those pillows, or shaking the dust from a weary rug. But whatever you do, do not let that energy fester inside of you. Make cleaning your release. And when that last room has the perfect vacuum lines on the carpet, or when the sink has been rinsed for that final time, let all that weight and all that restless energy wash away with the water down that drain. As you can see, my baseboards were damaged from the water leak, so I've decided not to mop my floor until after they come tomorrow to replace them with new ones. I hope you find, as I have, that cleaning is more than just a task. It's a quiet rebellion against disorder. In sharing my own turmoil, I do hope that you found something useful, not just for your home, but for your heart. And that next time you clean, you do so with the awareness that you're not merely tidying up a room, but shaping the energy around you. And as for me, I shall soon bid this space farewell. And if the universe is kind, a new home shall call to me. One where water leaks do not trouble my peace, and where water-stained baseboards remain only a distant memory. But until then, I will do what I always have. Restore what I can, embrace what I cannot, and keep moving forward with grace.